Hi guys, it's Brittany. So today's gonna be a movie review, and today I'll be reviewing Jaws. So Jaws was released in theaters June 20th, 1975, and by the time it came out, it did very well at the box office. And it's just one of those movies that Steven Spielberg himself did such a great job with the movie, especially a movie like that of where it feels like a monster movie. Like it's almost like if you're watching the Universal classic monster movies, like Frankenstein, Dracula, and Creature from the Black Lagoon, although this one takes a different approach to the theme of monster. Because this shark is in fact approached as a monster, but not in a way how we see those other monster movies, because those ones are more different than other types of monsters, if that makes sense. And right here on Wikipedia it says Jaws was the first major motion picture to be shot on the ocean, and consequently had a troubled production, going over budget and past schedule. As the art department's mechanical sharks often malfunctioned, Spielberg decided mostly to suggest the shark's presence, employing an anomalous and minimalist theme created by composer John Williams to indicate its impending appearances. Spielberg and others have compared this suggestive approach that of director Alfred Hitchcock. Universal Pictures release of the film to over 450 screens was an exceptionally wide release for a major studio picture at the time, and was accompanied by an extensive marketing campaign with a heavy emphasis on television spots and tie-in merchandise. So now that I did not know. Now, of course, they did use a mechanical shark for this particular great white shark in Jaws, and I did not know it had malfunction problems. Now, of course, when you do have a mechanical animatronic, of course, it will start to malfunction due to whatever the reason may be, especially if it's maybe an electrical problem, maybe with the wiring, or if it's due because of water. And I think in this case it was in fact water, because of the fact that this mechanical shark had to be in the water, to be filmed it underwater to somehow see the shark's point of view. So I did read that how we see the shark's point of view underwater when the shark is approaching, when we see that he's going to attack. Well, those are somewhat similar to the same thing that we see in The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I noticed just how similar it was, because you get the same feeling, because when you watch Creature from the Black Lagoon, you get the same thing. You get this point of view of the creature swimming, so you see the creature's point of view underwater. Same thing with Jaws. When the shark is approaching and when it's swimming, you get the same feeling, and it's the same thing. And I think it was inspired by that, and I think that's just quite interesting. And yeah, Steven Spielberg did such a great job, and Now it did not say how many um, um, it did not say how many animatronics there were of the sharks they had to use. I don't know if it's, maybe they had to use 4, maybe 5, or maybe a bit more. I don't know. But because of the malfunction of the animatronic shark, that's why Steven Spielberg suggested to use the anonymous theme that was composed by John Williams, to get this, creepy, ominous feeling to the shark's presence. So they did a really good job on that, because with his character, the sheriff, he's the one who wants to close down the beaches because of these shark attacks, and that keep happening on the beach, which I don't blame him for. But then the mayor is telling him no, that they shouldn't close the beaches because they will start to lose money, the tourists coming in, to town, like those who are new and want to go to the beach. And it's like, he's nothing but just like a greedy character, and he's only caring about himself, caring about the money and what the tourists bring in. When they go to the beach, they and I think somehow it just brings in more money when people go to the beach. I don't know how that's done really, but it just seems like that's the only thing he cares about. And it seemed like he did not really seem to care whether if people are getting attacked or killed by this monstrous shark. And yeah, the thing is, I love Steven Spielberg. He's a great director. He's actually my favorite director. But when I first saw Jaws, it really scared me. It did. And because this takes place in the water, in the ocean of this beach, I think this one really had me afraid of sharks. But then again, I was actually afraid of sharks before watching Jaws, quite young, because I didn't saw Jaws until I was, I think, maybe 13. Yeah, I would say so. But that's a whole different video for another time, to share my first time viewing of Jaws. So that will be another time. But yeah, it really had me afraid. I would say it probably got me more afraid of sharks, particularly just because the way they open their big mouth is, I can't stand it. Like, I just get so scared that I just can't look at it any longer, and I have to turn away. And I know there are some people who love sharks, and maybe somehow they're just probably fascinated by them, and they love shark movies. They learn everything they can about sharks, and that's fine. That's fine for those who are amazed by sharks. But no offense though, I'm not, just because to me they're too scary to look at, especially with their mouths wide open, and the way how when they attack, and I don't know, there's just something about them that really makes me feel unnerved by them, and so of course, I've seen Jaws, I would say probably at least 3, maybe 4 different times. Only because I thought, well, this movie came out a long time ago, so maybe, maybe I won't be that scared, but it turns out I think each time I did watch it, I find myself a bit more scared. I'm like, okay, no, I can't look. I can't look when it opens its mouth. But yeah, and Richard Dreyfuss, he plays a shark expert in this movie. I don't know what you call them. Oh, I don't want to give out the wrong name for it, but yeah, he does play a shark expert in the movie, which I thought that was interesting. And so I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if they somehow figured out what was going on with this shark, like to find out why it was attacking people. But I think this movie just really shows that there is no reason. Because to me, there's just something about sharks, even when you watch Jaws and other shark movies, that they're not really the kind of animal that would have any feelings, and if it somehow hurt somebody, that it would feel bad and it would just maybe swim away. Like, no, the sharks have no feelings towards to people in the water or to other animals. It doesn't feel bad for anything or for anyone. They have no remorse. But I do know there are some animals that actually do have feelings, and they are capable of being affectionate, and they're capable of they just have some compassion, and they love other animals, or they show love to those that to people that are kind to them. So there are some animals who actually do have feelings and have compassion, and kind of like dogs. I know they do for sure, and other animals as well. But sharks, I don't think they're the kind of animals that really have compassion or remorse or have any feelings where it would probably feel bad if it attacked a person in the water. To me, they probably are monsters in the water, because they're motionless. They have no emotion, and when they attack, they attack. And when they're hungry, they will rip something apart, whatever their prey may be, whether if it's a person, which is more scary, or even if it's an animal in the water. They just don't care what their meal is, because they will just rip it to shreds and just like swallow those parts in its mouth. And to me, that's just unnerving about sharks. And I think great white sharks probably are a bit more scary to me because of how the way they look. Now, I think in this one, in Jaws, I think this one was about, I don't know, how big was this shark? I don't know. I actually don't want to watch the movie again. But yeah, other than that, everyone did a good job, and the cast did a good job showing, even how scared they are in the movie, and and those, like, when they had to scream, run, and panic, everyone did such a good job, and including the main characters. The actors that play the main characters did such a good job. And yeah, Steven Spielberg did such a great job with this movie, making this movie a monster movie, but more of a shark. And it is scary. I mean, despite that it came out a long time ago, and even though there are some people that may look back on it and think like, oh, the shark doesn't look real, or anything, but I don't know, to me it still looks real just because of the way it moves, and I think the way they moved the animatronic in the water, and especially those parts where it's like swimming, or the parts where it comes out and it's like that. It's like, it's just really scary to see that, and to me that still looks real. And you know, this was before CGI came out, and yeah, they did a really good job. And those who edited, those who worked hard on the animatronic sharks, to make it to make this shark scary, and of different angles, and how to approach it and how to do that. They did a good job. And John Williams, he's a great music composer, and despite that, he composed music for Steven Spielberg's movies, you know, including Jurassic Park as well. The way he composed the music for Jaws is so eerie that when you hear it, you almost feel scared, because it just reminds you of the shark, because that's what it is. The music is actually this very anonymous tone that is the shark's presence itself, like it's near or it's here, you know, and it's very ominous too, and that's what I like about it. Yeah, it's really great. They did such a great job. And now of course I'm not a fan of Jaws, as you know, because now again, I love Steven Spielberg's work and his other movies, and even though with this one it did scare me as those times that I did saw it, but even as scared as I was watching it, you know, he still did a great job. So even though I'm not a Jaws fan or anything, it is still a good monster movie. And for those who are a fan of Jaws, like, that's fine, leave a comment down below. And I just want to say that this was you know, a really good ominous monster movie, but in the view of a shark. So yeah, and I know there are sequels. I know there are Jaws sequels, but I haven't watched them, and I'm afraid to watch them only because I know there's gonna be some parts it's gonna get maybe a little bloody, or some parts where the shark's gonna come up and open its big mouth. So I know that for sure. But yeah, I've heard that the sequels aren't really that good, but even if they're not that good, I'm still afraid to watch it. So it's like, I'm not so sure if I really should, because it's like, I don't know. So anyway, so yeah, that's my review on Jaws, and to rate it, I would say an A. Honestly, I would say 7.1 out of 10. 65%, and I would say 4.5 stars. But yeah, that's my review and my rating. Yeah, so let me know, leave a comment down below on what you think of Jaws, and are you a Jaws fan? Because I know there are some horror fans who also love Jaws. So Now, depending whether if you love horror movies or not, but if you are a Jaws fan, let me know in the comments. And to see more movie reviews like this, leave a comment down below and subscribe to see more like this and other movie content as well. And now and then I will play some quizzes on my channel as well. Now and then. So I will be doing the quiz, a Buffy quiz, quite soon. And yeah, and you'll see that. So, you know, subscribe to see more movie content, and subscribe if you are a Jaws fan and which Jaws movie is your favorite. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.